Okay, we left off over here on page 43. We're speaking about the material that hangs from the edge of the talus. It's not woven. There's no warp and woof in terms of the end. It's like the pieces which are like decorate the edge of the talus. He says you cannot put tzitzis directly in there because that has to be put into the garment, in the material. That's not considered the material. Okay, it's not a beged. Beged is what? A shesi ve'erev is a beged. See, it said, Im agodol shekorin urlaiza hu rochov lo yato bo tzitzis. Even though it's wide, you shouldn't insert tzitzis there. Vim hitel bo posel. And if you put tzitzis into that part of the material, it's not valid. Why? Al kanfi bigdeim ksiv. It says on the corner of your garment, zeinu nechshav beged. Unless it's fully woven, it's not considered beged. Aval olu l'shir malo kesher agudul ularchokes gimel etzbos kev shaynek b'toch habeged. But in terms of is the edge of the garment, what's the edge of the garment? The edge of the garment is that material which juts out at the end of the garment. So in terms of the hole has to be minimally the distance of the knuckle joint to the end of the nail. That could be included to calculate that. Because factually it's attached to the garment. So to put it there, that's not big dayim. It's not a beged. Beged means it's fully woven. The warp and woof. But in terms of calculating the on the corner or below the corner, that could be taken into account into the calculation. Of course, definitely. Yes, definitely. Right. That's the halacha. Hago. V'toshiyimdo shir kesher godol. So Ramos says it's best to calculate kesher godol below agodil. That should not be taken into account. This is mimachmir. That since it doesn't qualify as the garment, you calculate it from above that, below agodil. However, but in terms of not being too high up, you should take that into account. That should be within the three knuckle joints. Okay? Let's see Mishna Berura. Shekorin urlaizo hainu mashaminichin sas chute shsi below erev. They leave some of the threads of the shsi without the erev. Ubesof orgim v'yeshekosvu shezeu mashanu kornos ublushenu krekis. This is the end of the weave. Ve'chiluk ve'inav agodol hu ba'orech habegro b'rochvo. Okay, hu rochov shu yosem lo kesher agodol v'mloke v'lafochi posel. He's pointing out. I mean, it's wide enough. Let's say you put it in there, and let's say it's very short. So you're putting it at the edge. I mean, even be fully woven, you couldn't put tzitzis there. So the problem is not because it's not fully woven. So it is wide enough. Let's say it's 2 inches, 2.5 inches, and you want to put it on top of that. So it's far enough on the garment, but the problem is it's not beged. Doesn't qualify. It's not al kanfi big dayim. That's what he said earlier. Gimel etzbos, hainu shel yarchik haneg misvas hagodol v'holu yosem gimel etzbos, below hagodol, v'im hagodol rochav shtei etzbos, he says, o sholosh. He says, what happened? The point you make, let's say it's 2 or 3 etzbos. Yachtov mitzoso, you have to cut it. Let's say it's 3. So you can't put it there, I mean, you have to put it above. But if you calculate it in the edge of the garment, it's too high up. So he says, you have to cut it, you have to shave it. So now it should be within 3 of the edge. The piece that juts out at the end, you have to cut it off. Part of it has to be cut. V'adinim chuti ashsi boltin below erif, o erif v'lo shsi yesh sofek im olin leminyon, al ken yachtoch also b'makom haknofos. You should snip it off. Al ken tzvas hatalis shalonu shekorin shliak shein b'chut narugin b'shsi v'erif. So our talis, we have it's like decorated at the end. You have the pieces coming on, knotted. Yachtoch osam kodem hatol tzitzis. If you have them on the corners, you should cut them off before you put the tzitzis on. Because if you put the tzitzis on while they're there, so now the question is, it may be too high up. And if you cut it off afterwards, it's tasel domin osui, right? Because it became the garment afterwards. Min chutei tzitzis b'chol konov. How many strings do you have on every corner? Arba kfulim. Right, it's 4 double strings, 4 strings which are double shaped shmona. So 4 hang down on each side. It's 8. From Hosef Posel, what happens if you put a 5th string? It's Posel. Yachtoch Roshei Achutim Harbo, v'yitchevein b'knaf yichpalein. Was he shmona? I mean, let's say the string was, when it was made, it's like you have 4 strings and they're all, it's attached. So you snip off the ends, right? So you put it in and you snip off the ends. Now you have 8. You have 4 hanging down on each side. Arba kfulim. How did we come up with 4 double strings? The Amrina B'Gemara Godil Shnayim. The word Godil is 2. Gedilim Arba Pirush. Im Habeksiv Godil Hava Mashmishtayim. Godil is something which is combined of 2. Then Godil Pos Mishnayim. Hashtag Gedilim. Now that it says Gedilim, it's what? It's 2 of that. So if Godel means 2, and it says Gedilim, which is plural, so it's 2 of that. So it's 4. So Machoy Tchelis, when they would dye some of the strings Tchelis, Hayosi Shnayim Tchelis or Shnayim Milovan. 2 of the strings were dyed Tchelis, and the other were kept white. Vidna Havi Lovim Mokum Tchelis. Today, all our strings are all white. Vosen Arbo Aruchim Bishalovan. You have 4 long strings made of lovan. We had earlier the whole idea of separating the strings in the morning, right? We separate. Besides making sure that the strings are intact, you're supposed to separate. If they're all knotted up, tied up, entangled, you're supposed to separate them. Why do you separate them? That's a zechel tchelis. Of course, when you have tchelis, if they would all be entangled, you can't fully appreciate what's tchelis and what's the white, the blue and the white. And we always said on each side you had 2 blue, 2 white. So by separating, we do that zecher to commemorate what used to be, that you were able to discern between the tchelis and the lovan, the dyed string and the white string. Remember, it was
2 blue and 2 white on each side.
On each side.
There are 2 blue strings.
One double.
It was 4 altogether. So 2 of the full strings were dyed blue, and 2 were left in its original natural color. Right. So you had, on each side you had 2 white, 2 blue. Right.
Okay.
So if they be entangled,
half the strings were blue.
Half the strings were blue, half the strings were white, right?
Now people have 1.
I don't know what they have today.
That was
Yeah, but
blue on the white.
No, that's in the knots.
In the knots.
We're talking the strings. The
there's
strings
2
themselves.
actual strings. There's now I think people only have 1 string.
I
Alright,
know.
sorry.
Look, tomorrow's show and tell. You go to your son's preschool, you'll show.
Said Timeless is actually
It's Harvey.
It's a machlokas. Rashi says it's green. It's Rashi. Most Rishonim learn it's blue. Okay? What? Shem Shmono. So if you take 4 and double it, you have 4. Achashach nisim beged. After you put it into the garment, v'yichplim, you double them. V'chsit psil. Well, how do you know you double? Came psilo. What's a psil? Shukofel. Posul. If you put in a 5th string, it becomes posul. Mishum t'kover abal tosef. It's not no longer. It's like putting a 5th compartment in the tefillin sharosh. Right? It's posul.
kind of indicated it's 1 double, but not 2 out of 4.
Agro be'urav hichskim la'alocha shita se'iter hamuva be'beis Yosef shtovin ein b'zeh mishabal tosef. In this, the Vilna Gaon concurs with the Bali Yitur, who was a Rishon, that what? That if you add a 5th string, it's not Bal Tosef. Chi paslim b'gmor b'zeh dav k'shosif min achel achutim. Go chutei kanvus o tzemer gefen. If you had wool strings and you had a cotton string or a canvas. Avo b'osa min. But if it's the same material, the same species, machshrino nafil lechatchil hosev kamisher. You can add as many strings as you want. Minimally, it's 4. You want to have more than 4, you can have more than 4.
It's like a lulav, right?
Ein Bartz Zachayim, Shevi Ot Kama Gedoli Rishon Shesovim King. The Artz Chaim is the Malbim. Besides other primary Rishonim who concur with this, L'chein Masik, That if you already made added, and you can't remove that extra string, you're permitted to wear the garment with the additional string. But immediately, when you're able to make the correction to take out the fifth string with additional strings, what about if you have less than 4 strings? You have 6 strings rather than 4. Nobody argues. Everybody agrees it's not valid. You have to have minimally 4 strings, 4 long strings, which are 8. It's best to cut it. You should have 4 long strings before you put it in. Let's say the string would be a circle, the way it was made, and you insert it, and then you cut it after it's in the garment. So basically, how many strings did you insert? Right? No. Well, it could be one long. You just kept weaving it through, and then you cut it. So he says, now he brings over here. You should cut the threads, the strings with your teeth, not with a socket. I don't know the reason for this. I always thought it's similar to Mizbeach. The tzitzis represent something positive, metal represents something negative, death, right? Therefore, any metal implement which cuts the stone in the Mizbeach is possible. It's not valid. As Rashi brings, the cherev is made for death, and the Mizbeach is made for life, to bring shalom being between us and Hashem. No, it has nothing to do with that. That's not the reason. The reason people, you don't blow out birthday candles, you don't blow out any candle. That's supposed to blow out a candle. There's a sefer called Reishis Chochmah that says the neshama is referred to as a ner. So when you blow out the candle, it's like blowing out your soul. Chas v'shalom. That's the basis. It's based on Kabbalah, the Zohar. Any candle. You don't blow out a candle. You wave it out. You extinguish it, but you never blow out a candle. What? Yep. Yep. How do I know the reason? Not that I'm next to Reishis Chochmah. Rav Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, he had the ability that any time you'd ask him any source, he was the Rav of the Yishuv HaYoshar, the old community in Yerushalayim, passed away in 1929, he passed away. And anything you'd ask him, regardless where, he was able to answer you almost instantaneously, even with the source exactly where it was. And people, they would ask him all kinds of questions. The daily lives and halacha, everything. And there was a person who used to accompany Rabbi Yosef, he used to record all these questions. And eventually, after he passed away, they put out a sefer, it's called Salmas Chaim, the garment of Chaim. There was all these little one-liners. And one of the questions they asked him, are you permitted to blow out a candle? Have the sefer at home. So then he cites the source. The Reishis Chochmah says that blowing out a candle is like blowing out one's neshama. That's how I know it. Okay, let's see the Mesilas Yesharim.
So Gedilim is from a pasuk?
Yeah, Gedilim Tasaloch. That's the mitzvah dorais of tzitzis.
And the knots, that's how we know how many strings there are. How do we know how many knots and things around?
It has to be attached to the garment.
So
Gedil means you have the knots, and it has to be twisted once. Once is once. All the others, if you have just one, the rest of one done, you can say even a brach on that.
Gedilim is reference to 4 strings. That's what he says. And the knots, that's all.
No, because the Gedil, no. We mean the numbers is it's represented,
So that's really shouldn't be just because you want 8 strings instead of 4.
You shouldn't weave it in and then cut it afterwards.
No, so even if you put in, you make more according to the...
Yeah, but he's in L'chatchila. The Arz Chaim says you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it. He says you're permitted to it. It's not like wearing gum without tzitzis. But the first time you get if you correct it, you should correct it immediately. Right. Yeah, but okay. But it's valid.
Yeah,
Right.